welcome to Ann Arbor, year 2 under Jim Harbaugh. A season of much expectations. Wolverines doubled their win total last season, now trying to take the next step as Michigan looks for its first Big Ten title since 2004. As we welcome you inside the indoor facility here in Ann Arbor, Dave Revson, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffin. We got a chance to see Michigan go through drills on Monday. As we mentioned, year 2 under Jim Harbaugh, a lot of progress last year. What did you see as you watched practice today?
Well, I saw a team that's really talented. I saw a team that won't lose a game based on talent. I think they will match up with anybody on their team. And I also saw a very unusual practice where they split the roster. They were out here a long time, but each player wasn't out here for the entire time. I thought that was unique. I thought it was a great way to do a lot of teaching, and they got a lot done.
Hey, you talk about doing teaching, and who really benefit from that teaching is a lot of the young guys that don't get the reps when the 1s and 2s are here, so that really works out well for them. You're absolutely right when you talk about the talent that's on this team right now. It was very evident. They've obviously been working very hard in the summer, getting their bodies right, getting conditioned, but there's also is a team that I think is going to be right there in the thick of things just from what we've seen today.
They're physically so much better. Certainly physically better than they were 2 years ago, and I think we saw a significant jump this year. And remember, this is a team that returns a lot. I mean, 13 all-conference players from a year ago. That's 5 more than anyone else in the league. Now, as we mentioned, it's the second year, so what does it mean to be in year 2? How will that manifest itself?
Well, I think if you look at it this way, when we start to implement the systems, although it's a little bit differently defensively, they've run and changed the scheme there. When you look at the offense, you look at the off-season and conditioning program, the players know exactly what they expect. They know what's going to be expected of them, and they're able to take that jump. So that learning curve that they had when Coach Harbaugh first stepped in, trying to figure out what he was all about, trying to get to know one another, they know that the second time. And I think that's when teams make their greatest jump, particularly when it comes to a scheme. I think offensively, we should see a very productive team.
Yeah, I think year 2 brings on different expectations. You know, I kind of took exception to everyone rating Michigan so high during the offseason. I thought everybody kind of jumped the gun, like maybe the other great teams in the conference and coaches weren't going to coach as hard as they did because Jim had brought so much enthusiasm to Michigan. I was wrong based on today's practice. I mean, they can make the second step. The first step was that Michigan had lost the teams in the recent years that didn't have as talented a roster as Michigan. He closed that gap in year 1. Year 2 is to compete with the best teams in the conference and the best teams in the country. I wasn't sure they were ready for that after watching today's practice. Personnel-wise, they are ready for that. They're ready to win all their games, to compete for the national championship. I don't think there's any doubt talent-wise. And the other thing second year brings is Don Brown's drastically different defense. Yeah. And I call it high-risk defense, and that's kind of high rewards and high risk, and it'll be an interesting story to follow.
Yeah, it really will. And it comes down to trusting your players and trusting the scheme. And, you know, when you watch it and you see the type of talent that's out there, it's no doubt in my mind that they'll be competing at a high level.
We'll talk to Don Brown about that defense, some of the defensive players as well. We will speak with head coach Jim Harbaugh. But, you know, to your point, Jerry, you look at the 3 teams they lost to last year. Those teams went a combined 34-6. So now the next step is, can you beat those teams and can you compete at the very top? And it certainly seems like, based on what we saw, that Michigan can. We'll give you a look inside it as we continue here on BTN Live. But for now, we send it back to Sean.
Join them for a sit-down. Plus...
I think the biggest difference is we know what he's like and we know what to expect out of him. The good thing about him, he's the same every day, every time. So I think having a coach like that, we can come out to practice, go into meetings, being comfortable and knowing that we're not going to get any surprises. So I think that's one thing that's the biggest difference.
You're really going to try to convince people that there's no more surprises left in him?
I mean, not for me. Being around him, I think he's capable of anything. He thinks outside the box. So whatever he does, I'm usually not surprised by it.
Jake, how about you? The difference from year 1 to 2?
Yeah, I just want to second what Darbo said. There's just a bigger comfort level, not only from us to him, but now he's got a whole year under his belt to get to know us a little bit and how to work us. So that comfort level really helps us out. And as an offense, especially, we have the same offensive coordinators for the first time I've been here. So that allows us not to spend this camp relearning or learning a new offense, but focusing on our technique and all the fundamentals and stuff that it takes to be successful.
Harbaugh certainly made an impact on the team. They added 5 wins from what they had the year before. Only 2 teams in the country had a bigger improvement in 2015 from 2014, and I certainly respect that. But I think there has to be some question. There is preseason hype that has them as playoff contenders and national championship contenders, and I wonder if that may not be a little bit early. Is there a chance that maybe all the attention that he's had for the last 12 months has made them a little overhyped?
I don't think there's a little chance. I think it's a big chance. I quite don't understand it. Some people.
Pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh. Coach, where have you seen the most progress so far in camp?
Oh, in a lot of different places. Guys are working extremely hard. Really proud of what they're doing. Great bunch of guys working hard.
You have a little
We're getting better in a lot of areas, though.
little unusual practice organization where not everyone practices together. Some guys come out, and then more guys come out, and then the guys who were here early come out, leave early. What's the advantages of the rotating practice?
But it's a split squad like in baseball. Right. The idea comes from spring training, but more reps and more personalized coaching.
Coach, one of the most improved groups to Howard and I looks like the offensive line. Talk about those guys. I mean, that really looks like a terrific group.
They're good and some good young guys. It's a veteran group of guys that have played together for a while, and there's some good younger players that are coming up too. So very excited to get to work with both of those types of groups. It's fun. We have a green group that's just but have really come a long way in a very short period of time and very talented. And then we got our experienced frontliners who are doing a great job. You like our offensive line?
I like them a lot. I mean, they've always.
That's saying a lot. I mean, you were an All-American.
Not that many Americans. It was easier.
1974, Notre Dame All-American. Guard.
Right, but the point is there weren't that many Americans back then. It was easier to do. It's my job. It's a good one.
We all tell it.
Howard, help me here.
Howard came right out with it too.
Howard said that like he heard it before.
I heard that once. But you know, Coach, you talked about both quarterbacks are playing really well at this point. What's going to go into the decision-making process for who that guy is ultimately going to be that leads your team?
Really looking for the guy who can lead the team on drives, scoring drives, putting points on the board, picking up first downs, changing field position. But that's the main thing that we're tracking. We're tracking everything, of course, completion percentage and all those kind of things. But I want to see who moves the team when we're doing the move the ball sessions or the scrimmaging, red zone, and who can put the ball into the end zone and who can get us points on the board. We're just tracking that to determine who the starting quarterback will be.
You raved to us in Chicago about Jabril Peppers and all of the different ways that you can utilize him. So how do you decide what are the best ways to deploy him and where he can help you the most on this team?
That's a great question because he can help us in of the 22 positions on the field, he could probably help us at least 12 of them, 12 of the 22. And then you throw in the kick returner, the punt returner. He could be the gunner. He could be the hold-up guy. I mean, he could block the field goals off the edge. I mean, that's determining that is more difficult than it seems. In a lot of ways because there's so many places on a football field that he can help the team. So where can we get the most bang for the buck? Where does it help the team the most? And also, what fits his skill set to be able to excel and then also be able to play what's his best position in the NFL as well. I mean, we got to look at that, and I want him to have a bright future in those ways as well.
Coach, finally, there's so much social media out there. The guys see it all over the place, the predictions, people telling them what the year's going to be or what the year's not going to be. What do you do as a coach especially a team that has such high expectations. What's your message to them about how you deal with all the exterior stuff that you know they're hearing at this point?
They have high expectations for great meetings tonight. You know, we had a very good practice today. And now we still got another hour and a half of meetings this evening. Let's make those the best so far of the training camp, and that's where our focus is. It's predictions and things like that are not coming from our team, and you never want to take anybody's word for what you can do. You know, a lot of times it's people trying to put you down. You know, other times they're building you up so they can put you down. You know, I think there's probably more people out there that would like to see us fail than would like to see us do great. So the one thing we can control is how we work at it, how we prepare, and getting ourselves to be confident because of our preparation, not because of what somebody else is saying about us.
Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Current good standing with the program.
There's two of those players are suspended.
Who are they?
I know you like to ask a lot of questions, but we'll handle that internally.
How long is the suspension of those guys out?
That's why I don't give you any information, because you're never satisfied. You always want a second question, a third question, a fourth question. I just said we handle it internally. Thank you.
Jim,
Thanks a lot.